a perfectly clear day, and the wind brought in change, and it just made me think of Aquarius, who is in fact an air sign despite being the water bearer. And that is what we're ushering in, is change and evolution and growth. And with this influx comes stability. It might seem like turmoil, the trees make noises and the wind feels uncomfortable, but it's this breath, it's this air. Air carries water, Vanessa said, exactly. The clouds themselves are very Aquarian because it's water being held by air. And so that's what we're playing with right now, is this Aquarian sense of refresh, a breath of fresh air. That's why if you're ever having, internal struggles as well, calling in the winds of change with your own breath is prime. So that being said, it is a new moon in Aquarius. So what that means is that the moon and the sun right now are energetically linked, quite close. And that's why I felt called to come out here, because the sun was just shining. And every time that the moon is in the same sign as the sun, it amplifies and adds a lot of sensitivity to the solar season that's already happening. So we have Aquarius season, and then we have the new moon coming into play here, priming us for realizing our manifestations, for bringing our true desires into reality. And something that we're also playing with, especially at this event, is the idea that you are already creating your reality with every breath that you breathe. And Aquarius doesn't show you this to disempower you, quite the opposite. In fact, Aquarius says, hey, look at all of the crazy stuff that you have created for yourself. And some of it is really comfortable and amazing and wonderful. And then others are, toxic patterns and habits that we're like, why do I do that? Why do I make things hard for myself? Or why am I creating this, right? And there's definitely a shock that can come to your system when you become aware. If you attended the Aquarius season shift event, we talked a lot about awareness and higher awareness and how that contributes to the collective evolution of consciousness. And it's sharp at first, that mental clarity, that mental awareness of going, I do that. I have this unhealthy habit, or, I created this and it's phenomenal. How can I do that again? Like sometimes we accidentally create things. We're so powerful in our creator essence that happens. It's not always an intentional creation. So part of the magic of these manifestation moons with you guys is that we are coming together to create intentionally. To create intentionally. And I'm super stoked to be here and super stoked to be starting that process with you in a new way, a fresh way, as it starts to snow. So, other than the new moon, the other main astrological aspect that I wanted to touch on today is, you may have heard, Venus went direct, which is pretty exciting. Over the weekend, Venus retrograde ended, which means she's starting a new orbit around our sun. And she's also quite close, linked energetically right now to Mars in Capricorn. And yeah, it's starting to snow now. So again, it's amazing how quickly it changes. Like, this is the Aquarius, this is what revolution is too, right? We talked about that. Like, this is literally the funniest thing because it was totally blue skies, clear out here earlier, and then immediately the wind just rustles things up and creates change. And from this change, that's actually how we create stability. We talked about that in Libra season, which is another air sign. Anytime that you're breathing extra and you're like shaking up the systems with air energy, change is going to happen. So Venus and Mars are currently conjunct in Capricorn. So we're not done with Capricorn energy yet. So if you were like, I'm so glad to be done with Cap season. Yeah, same. But we also still have a very tangible, grounded aspect of all of this energy that's coming into play here. And Venus and Mars are lovers. Venus and Mars are the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Venus being the divine feminine and Mars being the divine masculine. And so there's this great sense right now of relationship in all of life, and noticing not just like how you interact with other energies and other polarities, but how your inner polarities interact. So your inner feminine energy, your receptivity, your creative mode, as well as your like actively outputting creative mode. Super heavy. Yeah, Capricorn energy being quite heavy. Coupled with this Aquarius energy is carrying us through. So any lessons that you had or that you were still processing, especially on a very physical bodily level, with Capricorn season, is being like revitalized and refreshed a bit. So just giving ourselves permission to breathe. I know I keep mentioning that, but it's just incredibly important right now, especially when it comes to sensitive things in relationships, whether that's your self relationship or your dynamics with other people or your partner. Those are going to be very sensitive right now. And it's also actually a really good time to, if you're looking to manifest a new relationship, even a new friendship, whatever kind of like partnership it is that you're craving right now, or that you're craving, but that you are called to. It's good to work with these new fresh energies of Venus going direct and Venus and Mars being together. But keep in mind that it will, in Capricorn, there is that tendency to get a little bit nasty sometimes, or a little bit like kind of just heavy, a bit like uncomfortable. And so anytime that you can use those moments to create a successful environment where you can reflect upon these things and again become aware, like, oh gosh, I do that toxic thing and I don't want to do that anymore. How can I soften a little bit more to adjust this and process this? And what is it about this energy that I'm creating and putting forth and manifesting? How can I channel this manifestation energy elsewhere? And that's the biggest thing, is becoming aware of that which you already create, so that you can create something new that maybe you haven't made before. And it's really just a prime time to do it. So cheers to you all for showing up here, because you're taking the first step. And again, I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. And the sun is back just in time, which is delightful.